On a recent trip to the United States of America, I treated myself to a new golf club. Now this thing could potentially be the best value golf club I've ever bought. It's of course second hand, and if you saw the video, we went to Edwin Watts, which was fantastic. This isn't a sponsored video. We went to PGA Tour Superstore, Dick's, everywhere else, and Edwin Watts just had a really good second hand section. So it is an old school burner 3-wood. Now this isn't just any old school burner 3-wood. You might think, James, it's really not that impressive, it's 15 degrees, there's no adjustability whatsoever, but I think the head shape is absolutely phenomenal. I'd really love to see TaylorMade potentially bring something like this back. Shaft wise, we have a UST Pro Force V2. It's actually got someone's, I'll not put his address on because it's weird, but it's still got the tag. Americans do that, don't they? You know, like put the stuff on. I'm hoping it's not stolen, and I did buy it like properly with money. You can see me hand the money over because I'll get it from the video. And the sales system looked like Bob. Do you remember? Yeah, like Bobby 2.0, wasn't he? So we're going to test it today, but I'm going to test it against this, because this is not only one of the best 3-woods of 2025, it's of course the TaylorMade QI35, it's also one of the most expensive. So if we look at the differences here, especially in like adjustability, you can see we can change that centre of gravity to change spin rate and things like that. We can also change loft on the QI35, and that does look as a 3-wood stunning, doesn't it? Lovely carbon infinity crown, twist face and all the rest. Is it going to be a lot better performing than this burner? Guys, get in the comments below and let us know what you think. How good does Woolly Park look today as well, by the way? Looks stunning, doesn't it? So what we'll do, because obviously the QI35 should have an advantage, I'm going to hit 2 shots with my burner, and then we get 1 shot with QI35, just see if it can outperform it. This should be quite forgiving, the burner, because I think it was quite a forgiving club back in the day. Look at how high has that gone? I mean, it's a really nice ball flight if you want that lovely kind of high flying 3-wood. That seemed to like really take off, didn't it? Did you see it kind of spin up a little bit? So I can imagine this is going to be a more kind of forgiving wood. If we look at the technology in this, you might think, oh James, it's a really old archaic wood, there's not going to be a lot of technology in there, it's even called a burner. But this was the kind of second or third iteration of the burner, if you remember. They brought back the burner, and it has that lovely kind of weight in the back there. So that's designed obviously to have that CG far back and low to make this club easy to launch, which is exactly what happened there. Now, I'm not going to test versatility just yet. We'll do that a bit later on. Let's just see how consistent we can be with it, because especially if you're hitting 3-wood off the tee, that is what you're going to want. And that's a pretty much carbon copy, isn't it, Bob? Really high, just turning over a little bit. And I actually really enjoyed that as a shot, enjoyed it as a strike. Now, if we look at QI35, shaft length-wise, exactly the same, so nothing's really changed there too much. That's just the butt of the grip, isn't it, really, that's changed there. Now, it's straight away a bit of a kind of sleeker looking head, a smaller looking head, and we could certainly test this against the kind of core model of the QI35, definitely without all the adjustability, but I thought let's use TaylorMade's all singing, all dancing model to see just potentially what going out and spending big money could do for you, as opposed to going to Dick's Sporting Goods, Edwin Watts, and just seeing kind of what deals are out there, because I'm a fan of both. I really enjoy the fact that TaylorMade, Titleist, Callaway, PXG, Mizuno, all these brands are pushing the boundaries of performance whilst charging a lot of money, but I also love the fact of walking into a shop, picking old clubs up, kind of testing them, giving them that one. Well, that feels nice, doesn't it? We've all done that. We've all enjoyed the weight of a club or the look of a club. But if this goes like 20, 30 yards longer straight away, is it worth the money? Now that went high, but it was like a different kind of high, wasn't it? That looks like it's kind of low spin in the air, bounding up the middle of the fairway. Let's get up there and see how it's performed against 2 of these $50, $40 burner. I can't remember how much it was. We'll put on screen how much it was, because it wasn't, I remember it being a bargain, big time. So results on the first hole, very consistent with the burner actually. You can see we have the second shot in the rough, the first shot in the fairway, and then the QI35 is actually, would you say that's 20 yards, Bob? 15 at least, 20? And this is what I'm starting to wonder about, potentially, the value for money. If you're a really serious golfer, 20 yards with a 3-wood is a lot of distance. Now, if we can gauge that on a forgiveness and versatility factor, potentially we could maybe think otherwise about that. I don't know if that makes sense in my head, Bob. It makes sense in, does that make sense what I've said? It doesn't, does it? Basically, we're going to test them for versatility and forgiveness now and see if it's any good. What am I on about? So initially, I am quite impressed with that burner. I think it's done well, the consistency level of it. We have to remember that although it's an older club, it's not archaic, it's not exactly a persimmon wood, is it? So shall we try and set a standard with this off this tee and then hit a couple with the burner? What are your thoughts on that?
It looks nice.
It does look nice. I think the technology in it, and I have reviewed this already, is really, really nice. I think being able to move that massive plate there to move it kind of low spin, high spin, or whatever you want with it's really good. We still have a weight in the front to make it a bit forgiving, then the through slot speed pockets. I think that's where the biggest technology in fairway woods, because if you strike it low on the face, which a lot of people do, it helps you generate that ball speed or kind of maintain that ball speed, doesn't it? So let's send learning. Send one down there. The ideal shot here is just to draw off that tree. See what we can do. Like that. That is an absolute beauty. And that sounded fantastic as well, to be honest. A little bit toey, but a really kind of nice thuddy sound with that. So nice and high. We'll go similar shot here with the burner. And when it comes to the burner, value for money wise, this could be almost absolutely rubbish and still be a good buy. Like, depending who you are and what you want from your 3-wood and all the rest, I certainly feel as though value for money wise, anything like 40 quid is going to be good. Can we get that same shape? It's a bit more toed in this. Two very different ball flights. I think that's a good ball flight and it's going to do the job that I want it to do. And interestingly, if you buy a 3-wood, does it always need to go the furthest distance possible? Or, hear me out, does it matter what loft is on here? Does it matter that it says 3-wood? Would you buy a club potentially just for a certain distance? Like if that's gone, I think that's probably gone around 240 yards. Now the QI35 may have gone 250, 255, even 260, but if that's too far for you and it kind of catches up with your driver, is buying the more expensive one pointless? Should you just go for a club that potentially has a really nice gap in your bag? That's always something to consider as well. And then we go back to that kind of consistency argument or discussion, because we don't argue on this channel, do we, Bobby? Not unless you don't like the word potentially. Because apparently I overuse the word potentially, which is fine. And delightful. But what I would say is, potentially it could be a delightful situation to be in, couldn't it? No, but I think it's just a word I like, Bob. And I think using the word potentially opens up a conversation, because you're not saying it's that, you're saying let's have a discussion. Glad you're editing this one, Bob. Right, let's go for the same again. Now that is a good shot, but if you look at the two shot traces side by side, there's quite a big difference there in peak height, and I imagine a big difference in spin rate as well, which has caused it to peak height. So I think that's going to be quite a long way behind. It's forgiving enough, but I'm not sure potentially it's going to be as long as even the first burner we hit. Let's go and see where they are. Right, so we have the final shot, so the real kind of high riser here in the rough with the burner. The first burner hits there in the fairway, so that, I mean, there's 15 yards there, isn't there? And then we have the QI35 further down on a really good line actually, which kind of would take the corner on. So quite a big difference there. And I think the real thing to test now is forgiveness wise, I do think the burner does well, but I think for someone potentially who has like a high spinning shot anyway like me, it's probably a little bit too high spin, maybe too, not forgiving, so that's the wrong word, but could maybe do with like a kind of LS version of it. Let's hit a couple more. Let's see just how low we can potentially flight it, because if we can change a few kind of swing dynamics and potentially get this really going out lower and hotter, you could save yourself a fortune potentially just by kind of having a lesson and tweaking a few bits. Right, so we're going to even things up. I don't know why I take my glove off so often, it's pointless, isn't it? I'm going to even things up a little bit. We're going to go 4 balls now, 2 with each, and we're going to see, first of all, I think a forgiveness test has to just be like a very kind of ergonomic, just happens what happens. It has to just fit and take it from there. So we'll see about forgiveness, but I want to see about versatility, because a lot of people do like hitting low 3-wood shots, high 3-wood shots, draws, fades, all the rest. And I think that's a really kind of interesting factor when buying golf clubs and spending the money potentially you're going to spend, is what we're trying to get out there. So QI35, should we go QI35 burner, QI35 burner? And that's a really kind of fair way of doing it, isn't it? So Nice low tee. And I'm going to try and play just some nice low, powerful 3-woods. This looks so good down at the ball. Oh, Bob, look at that. That's lovely, isn't it? That's really exactly what you want as a ball flight. It's gone miles as well, that. I might have gone almost too far on that line, which I said I'd change, wasn't I? You were going to remind me then, weren't you? That's why you're here, Bob. That's why we pay you the big bucks. Can we if we can play that similar shot with this, it really is in its favour. Like, yeah, you can see what I'm trying to get out there. It's rising up a bit, isn't it? Why do I keep leaving them over here? Why don't I just bring them over here? Right, so let's try and hit one a bit further on that line with the QI35 and just see, because if that could chase forever, although it wasn't as low and as penetrating as a QI35, but it was still a nice shot in. Come on. I mean, it's powerful again. It's left again though. And this is where, if I've missed the fairway twice with this, and the burner, if we hit the fairway with it now, what's better? Because those were the ball flats I wanted, but I've pulled them. I have pulled them. Same shot. I pulled that as well. They're all on the same line, those three, aren't they? I was trying to hit that low, and it's not gone low. It stayed quite high. Let's go there and see where they've finished and discuss potentially what we feel like we're gaining from this and what we're losing in relation to the all singing, all dancing QI35. So I guess the good news with this, we are in the trees as you can see, but we're quite a long way up, so we can't really blame the club too much, but we have one here. Where's the other one, Bob? Just behind us. And then the burner, which we hit left, is again kind of 10 yards back that way, and then level with that is the burner that we hit well. So when it comes to distance, obviously the modern club is working really well for me, even if we try that nice versatile knockdown shot. When it comes to potentially forgiveness and dispersion, and the burner is working quite well as well. I think for the money, the burner's an outstanding club. It's a fantastic option, but I do feel like if you're a really serious golfer, you're wanting to kind of get the most out of your game, potentially looking newer is of course going to help you. Guys, if you've enjoyed that, smash that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for your time as always. I look forward to seeing you at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.